YouTube. This is Acidic Roots. So this series right here, Frenchie and I are going to tag team with doing Mountain Dew Game Fuel 2017. Now I talked about this back in June. Let's get the Booger Man in here. He definitely endorses this. So, but you know, it's time. So I'm gonna fuck with this. It represents Middle Earth Shadow of War. It's got an icy blue flavor to it. I'm very interested in what it tastes like. I'll talk about a couple stories that I had with the Walmart experience after I get this taken care of. So I'm gonna open this, drink it, and pretty much share my first reaction. So would have been really retarded if that would have exploded on me. It'd be a great first reaction. All right. So, tongue is blue. Basically, cat's grinning, I'm grinning. Here's the whole thing. Here's the thing about it. It's sugary, and I can't really taste the blue flavor to it. I was expecting it to be something like a raspberry, but I do like the idea of it. Now, to look at the 46 grams of sugar and 170 calories. So really, this isn't that fattening. It's just the idea to it being, I don't really know what to expect of this. Yeah, it says promo ends 12 p.m. on 1/3/18. I don't really know. I don't really know if that means that Game Fuel is going to be gone in just a little bit over 2 months. So, yeah, I enjoy this drink. I know obviously Mountain Dew is kind of painting themselves in the corner though. It's because they can't really do the blue flavors that much just because of voltage. So I know that this was an interesting take. It basically is just like voltage, only the fact is that it has more of a Sprite-like feel to it. So it definitely sparkles on your tongue, but I just couldn't, that was definitely the issue, was me trying to, it's real sugar. That's what you're looking at. And yeah, I actually want to drink it again, so I'm looking to see if it has like any flavoring that it calls it. So yeah, I like this one better than I did last year's Citrus Cherry and the Mango Heat. Now, that was my first introduction. I wish I would have gotten the Berry Lime from 2015. I was this close to doing it. But I think I actually remember seeing Berry Lime in 2015 when I was doing year one. And the whole thing was that I probably had the mindset that, I probably don't want this because Mountain Dew Voltage gave me cavities, 3.5 years ago. So, it resulted in a couple teeth being pulled, but I still do drink Mountain Dew. It's been a couple months since I've had Live Wire, been a season or so since I've had Pitch Black, but I am going to return to those. So, I'm itching for Baja Blast. That, to me, is still one of the best Mountain Dews. I would say this is one of the best Game Fuels I've had, but I've really only had about 4 flavors, so that was kind of the thing. I remember I had the opportunity to buy 2016 Game Fuel back in February, but I didn't really do it. So I'm curious as to whether or not they'll bring back Citrus Cherry next year. The problem with it is I don't know if it has to do with Mountain Dew not having the gumption as much because the games are not as blockbuster. Obviously when they had Call of Duty to back them everyone was stoked for it just because that was the game of games. But, you know, trying some new little experiments and going with something different kind of makes me wonder. I mean, Lord of the Rings is awesome. You know, I tuned into those, but the problem with it is I don't know how, you know, it's a limited universe. That's what I've seen is, I mean, you've got the Hobbit movies also, but I'm almost at the point where or Disney needs to fuck around and buy them or something like they did with the Star Wars movies and say, okay, this is what happens after Return of the King. They did the prequels just like Star Wars. They did the prequels. Or wait, no, they didn't. The prequels came first. No, they didn't. Just like Star Wars, there's 6 movies, prequels came later, so, you know, I wouldn't be surprised if, like, 2022, 2023, they have another 3 Middle-earth movies, whatever that overall subject is called, but it's just kind of eerie. I mean, I watched Clerks 2, and I remember them specifically talking about, you know, one ring to rule them all, and they were acting like, you know, Lord of the Rings fandom was going to reach the height that Star Wars fandom had back in 1992, you know, when they did the first Clerks. I mean, the leftover remnants of Star Wars lasted into the 90s, despite that was 15 years later. But it's kind of interesting seeing the Lord of the Rings stuff do that, because I remember what Lord of the Rings was like before 2001 when the movie came out. And, you know, there wasn't a poster boy like Orlando Bloom and, what's his name? Fucking, the guy that played Aragorn. So, that guy, you know, he was in Hidalgo also. Viggo Mortensen. So, you know, some of those guys, you know, that sort of thing. But, you know, those heroes were fantasy as, you know, they were, I had a Nintendo Power that had Lord of the Rings, the game, in it, and Legolas was a lot different back in 1994 than he was in 2001. But, you know, apparently Smeagol is in that one, so it's an extra thing. But, yeah, I mean, as far as this flavor, yeah, I have to say I approve of it. I mean, I figured I would like blue flavors the best, but it just doesn't have, it's sparkly, but it doesn't have the voltage that, it's kind of in between, or like Mountain Dew Code Red and Mountain Dew Voltage. It's more shocking than Code Red, but it's not as shocking as Voltage, which almost makes you wonder, you know, so I'm not complaining. I'm definitely going to buy more of these. I went and bought 4 of the blue one. I bought 3 of the Tropical Smash. So that's the one that Frenchie's going to be unveiling to you. And, you know, his thoughts on this will probably be pretty, you know, interesting as well. So, you know, stay tuned for him. And you will see the other Mountain Dew flavor, which will be on his channel. So check out both of them.